Oh, I didn't get, oh my gosh. Hey guys, welcome to episode 19 of the Knit Now Swatch Later podcast. My name is Courtney. I'm coming to you from Pennsylvania, where I live with my husband and our 2 dogs and 2 cats. It has been very hot here lately. I think today it's 90 degrees, so very, very hot and unbearable when you don't have a window, or I mean when you don't have central air conditioning. So that's fun. This is a knitting and crocheting podcast where I talk about all of my crafting and just what I've been up to in the last 2 weeks. You can find me on Instagram as Knit Now Swatch Later and on Ravelry as Pup. And we also have a Ravelry group for this podcast that is also linked down below. Anything that I talk about during the podcast, whether that's my projects, shops that I talk about, etc., all of that stuff will be linked down in the description box below so that you can find it easily. And as always, a big welcome to any new viewers, and to any returning viewers, welcome back. So I guess the first order of business today is to announce the winner of the giveaway. Thank you so much to everyone who entered, and if you didn't win, that's okay. Just make sure that you enter the next one because they are tons of fun. I love hosting the giveaways, so I'm sure there will be more in the future. So congratulations to Kentucky Mama to 3, who is Paula. She entered both on Instagram and on Ravelry. So congratulations. Make sure that you get in touch with me. Send me an email with your full name and mailing address to knitnowswatchlater@gmail.com, and I will get your prizes out to you right away. If you are a maker and you would like to donate to a future giveaway, please feel free to contact me at knitnowswatchlater@gmail.com. Alright, so let's start. I don't have any finished objects this week, so I'm going to jump right in with works in progress. Ooh, I'm going to start with my Scrappy Sunday corner to corner blanket update. I put this here so I wouldn't forget. I don't think I talked about this at all in June. So here's my July update. Let me just get this out of here. Alright, so this adipose stitch marker is where I was the last time I talked about it on the podcast. So I do have a few rows worth of progress, and it's pretty decent size. These are all mini skeins that I have either purchased, or a few of the things in there are remnants from finished projects, and I'm hoping to have that finished really soon. I feel like I say that every time I talk about it on the podcast, but I'm getting close. I only work on it on Sundays, and I don't spend a whole lot of time working on it. But I always forget how to do the decrease at the end of the row. So I always have to look it up, and it looks really weird right now, so I hope I'm doing it right. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be a finished object soon enough. We shall see. Alright. Oh. And I am using a tulip hook, which is a 6 size 3mm hook, 3.5 millimeter hook. Okay. And then next up, I have my Honeycomb blanket, which is a pattern by Adrienne Brigham. That Piggy is marking where I was last time I showed this on the podcast. Not a whole lot of progress, but I am working on it, I promise. And then the yarn is Lion Brand Baby Mandala in the colorway Wishing Well. I'm really enjoying working on that. It gets a little bit of love here and there. I have been really focused on my Frida top, which I will show next. I have it in this pumpkin project bag, which I made. And let's see. Alright, so this Zero Progress Keeper is from Simply Serving. It's marking where I was the last time I showed this on the podcast. And now I have finished the body, bound off the body, and I finished one sleeve and bound off the sleeve. So this is my first time doing a tubular bind off, or no, this wasn't a tubular bind off, this was an I-cord bind off. I have never done an I-cord in my life, and I don't think I will ever do one again because it took forever. But it does make a really nice straight edge, which I do really like. So we'll see. But I have my markers, I have my little end stoppers here for holding my sleeve stitches in place. So I just have to pick up this sleeve, knit the rest of it, and I'm done. And I still have not cast on my Be Still tee. I'm so proud of myself and how much self-control I have right now because it's ridiculous. And the urge to cast on has been very intense. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. But I only have one sleeve to go and then I'm done. So it is an enjoyable knit. It's just been taking me a while because it is the lace pattern is a little bit tedious, and I have to have a chart pulled up, which I use Knit Companion, so it's not a huge deal, but until recently I didn't have a small tablet to look that up on. I had to use my Chromebook, which I have in my lap right here, and it's not the best for balancing on the arm of the couch when I'm trying to knit. So I finally have a tablet, and ever since I bought that tablet and loaded Knit Companion onto it, it's been a breeze. So I'm really, really hoping to have that finished by the next episode of this podcast, but we shall see. Okay, so next up I have in my bag from the Stitching You, I have my summer sock camp on this side, is my summer sock camp sock. Alright, so I do have a half object that I totally forgot about. This is my first sock finished, and again, this is just a vanilla sock. I did 15 rows of knit 1 purl 1 rib. I did 30 rows for the leg, a shadow wrap heel, and I think I did 60 rounds for the foot, and then just a basic rounded toe. And you guys are not gonna believe this, but I tried it on and it fits. Yay! I'm so excited that it fits. Yeah, I just can't even. My husband's gonna be really disappointed because now I'm gonna be knitting socks for myself and not for him. So, oh well, right? He's got plenty. And then here's my progress on the second sock. I have just turned the heel, and I have maybe 6 or 7 rows of the foot. So not a whole lot of progress. These have been my car knitting socks, and we don't go anywhere, so not a whole lot of work. I do work on them a little bit when I'm watching Ben play video games or something, and I don't have to, so I have something that I don't have to think too much on. But alright, so next up I have in this bag, which is a Standing by the Lakeside bag. I think this was a limited edition bag that she did with the Cozy Knitter, I think. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I had to have it when I saw it. I love the print on the inside. It's adorable. So this is a project that I pulled out of my whip basket and I started working on. This is the Gable cap by Tabi Gandee. And of course, I'm in the middle of a row, but this little guy here, Cogsworth, is where I was when I pulled this out of the whip basket. So I made a good amount of progress, about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches of progress. I've been working on this a little bit every night, just wanting to get something done. I feel like I have so many big long-term projects that I'm working on, so I wanted a little bit of instant gratification, but I pulled out a really intense cabled hat. So I'm not sure what the thought process was with that, but there you go. But I'm almost finished with this. Hoping to have it done really soon. This is Madeline Tosh. Let's see. This is a very messy cake, but the yarn is Madeline Tosh and the colorway is Pink Clay Optic. I think this is their DK base, so whatever that is. It's really pretty yarn, really pretty pattern. I'm really enjoying working on it. It's kind of addicting. Like, it's kind of hard to put it down because I have the this first, I don't know if I can show you, I have this first section here memorized, so I kind of speed through that and then I watch my chart for the next section and then I know the next part, so it's kind of hard to put down, which is good. It's good that it's getting a lot of progress on it, but yeah, I'm hoping to have this done soon. It's super squishy and soft. And that's it for works in progress. So I'm going to move into kind of chatter, I guess. And I did finish Looking Glass by Christina Henry, and it was really good. I was reading that with my friend, and it was really fun texting back and forth, seeing where we were and what we thought, what the other one thought about the chapter that we had just finished. So that was a lot of fun. And the book overall was pretty good. There was a section, it was basically 4 novellas combined into one book. And I think it was the third novella I thought that the story could have done entirely without. I thought it was really boring and it did not add anything to the story. But other than that, I really enjoyed the rest of it. If you're a fan of Christina Henry, I would still recommend it. If you wanted to skip the, I think it's called When I First Came to Town. If you wanted to skip that chapter, you wouldn't be missing anything. But that's just my opinion. And then right now I'm reading The Children of Men by P.D. James, which is really interesting. I'm still in kind of the first couple of chapters where they're kind of doing a lot of world building, but it's a dystopian novel, which is one of my favorite genres of books. And basically the entire world is suffering from sudden infertility. And that's really all that I know so far, but I will keep you guys posted. I am enjoying that so far. And then I'm going to move into the question portion of this episode. I'm going to start with the Ravelry questions. I had a lot of questions this week, so I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. So if I don't answer your question, I will do my best to get to it in a future episode. So first question is from Cheryl Lacemaker on Ravelry, and her name is Cheryl, and she asked, what kind of dog do you have? So I actually have 2 dogs. The first one is Cooper, and he is a miniature pinscher, and he is turning 10 in September, so he is my old boy. And then we have a puppy. Her name is Tilly, and she is a miniature Australian Shepherd, and she will be turning 2 in October. So they are a lot of fun and sometimes a handful, but we love them. So next question is from Yvonne, and she says, hey, how are you? Hope you are doing fine. Have you ever tried double face knitting? And if yes, did you try the method where you pin the different working yarns to your shirt? So I never have tried double knitting, but it is on my list. I'm really curious to know what that's like. I have seen a lot of beautiful projects on Ravelry and on Instagram, but I've never actually tried it myself. What about you guys? Have you ever tried double knitting? Let me know in the comments below. Next up is Aisha. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. She says, congratulations on 200 plus subscribers. Thank you. I'm fairly new to your channel, so you may have already addressed these topics. Do you currently, or do you have any plans to design your own patterns? So right now, I do not have any patterns, and eventually I would really like to design my own patterns. I just don't know where to start. I have done a little bit of research, but I haven't really gotten into it, and I haven't started. I have started a couple of designs, but they haven't gone anywhere at all, so hopefully in the future. And she also asks, do you have a plan on how you want to grow your channel? Thanks for the giveaway and good luck, everyone. So honestly, I don't really have a plan. I try to be as active as possible on Instagram, trying to interact with people to grow my channel naturally. And I also do a lot of sharing and commenting and following people and all of that to try and grow my channel organically. But I don't know if that really counts as a plan. I've also done a collaboration with Natalie, who is Nitty Natty from the Love and Stitches podcast, which really helped grow my channel quite a bit. It more than doubled after the collaboration with her, so I'm hoping to maybe do some more collaborations in the future. But other than that, I don't really have any plans, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. All right, and then I had a question in the YouTube comments on my last episode, and Talia says, question for you. I think we all at one time or another hit a creativity wall. How do you motivate yourself to continue a project? That's a really good question. I have talked about this before, but I started this podcast as kind of a way to keep myself accountable and a way to kind of motivate myself to keep going. I have tons of projects. I have to have tons of projects or I get bored super quickly, so sometimes taking a break from a project and working on something else is the best thing that I can do to keep working on something. For example, I set down my Frida after I finished the sleeve, and I picked up my Gable cap to have something that was a little smaller and a little less complicated, although I don't know if it's really less complicated, but something different for a little while. And she also asked, how do you motivate yourself to start a project? Honestly, I'm always motivated. I'm always down to start a new project. The only thing stopping me usually from starting a new project is if I don't have the yarn, or if I do have the yarn, I don't like to cake my yarn, so I have my husband do it for me. So if the yarn isn't caked and he's not available to cake it for me, that's pretty much the only time that I won't start a project, which is why I'm so proud of myself for not starting the Be Still Tea yet, because I have wanted to for quite a while now, as you guys know, if you have been following along with me here. All right, so she says, my other question is, I find the idea of knitting up clothing pieces daunting, but I really want to try it. What advice do you have for those who want to knit a clothing piece but don't quite have the confidence? Also, what is a common misconception about knitting clothing pieces? So the best advice that I can give you for working on clothing pieces is to just jump into it, pick something that you want to work on, and go for it. If you start a new project, normally the pattern will have a breakdown of the different stitches used in the project, abbreviations, all that kind of stuff, so that you kind of know what you're getting into. And if you're confident that you can do all of those techniques, I say go for it. But if you're still a little apprehensive after that, maybe you should try starting with something smaller like a hat, because a hat gives you a bunch of different techniques. You have to increase, you have to decrease, you have to know how to finish the top of your hat in a way that looks nice still. You have to decide if you want to add a pom-pom, not add a pom-pom. Do you want to use a faux fur pom-pom or make one yourself? So I think that there are a lot of techniques that you can learn just working from a hat. That's what I would recommend starting. And if you like the way that your hat works out, it's basically the same concepts of increasing and decreasing when the pattern tells you to. And I would also start with something pretty simple to start with. I wouldn't start with like an intricate lace pattern for my first piece of clothing. But other than that, I say go for it. You guys know how I feel about that. And then her other question, what is a common misconception about knitting clothing pieces? I think the most common misconception is that it's really hard, which I don't agree with at all. I think with anything in the knitting or crochet world, if you want to knit or crochet something and you're patient enough to figure it out and try again, I think that you can do it. So that's all the questions for this week. If you have a question that you would like me to answer in the next episode, be sure to ask in the comments below or ask in the Ask Me thread on Ravelry. And that's it for today, guys. So if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I share a new podcast every 2 weeks. So until next time, happy knitting, guys. Bye.